Hey y'all, and welcome back. So today is going to be my March wrap up. It is currently April the 2nd. So we're just gonna go through the books that I was able to get to in March, and let's get started. So first I read Ties That Tether by Jane Igaro. This one was about a woman named Aziri. She's Nigerian, and this was kind of following her life after she had a one-night stand with a white man. And when her father had passed away, she promised him that she would marry a Nigerian man. So it just kind of goes along with her relationship and how she kind of tries to keep her promise and, you know, all that stuff. So I was super excited about this book. I thought it was going to be cool and funny and lighthearted and romantic. I did not like it at all. Not one bit. I don't know what it is about the writing process that this author has, but it was horrible. I gave it 1 star. So main issue was that like the author relied really heavily on like various pop culture movies in order to like set the scene. Like, she would say things like, it was just like that scene in that movie where so and so did this and did this, instead of actually doing the work herself and setting the scene using, you know, I don't know, personification and metaphors and whatever else. Like, that's what she did. That was her fallback, and she did it so many times throughout the book. So if you haven't seen any of the movies that she's talking about, it just seemed like a very juvenile way of writing. And on top of that, the characters themselves were so unlikable. Like, there was no background, there was no like investment in the characters' development as a whole. It was just flat. They were one-dimensional. I found myself really not caring about them at all. Another thing that she did, they say each other's name in every single sentence. Every single sentence. No one talks like that in real life. Why do you have to keep saying his name every single like every sentence in every conversation? They say each other's name, which was really annoying. And it was just unrealistic, and not in like a cute romantic serendipity type of way. It was just unrealistic, and literally 100% of their problems would have been solved if they would have just talked to each other and communicated. But no, why would they do that? And then on top of that, one of the things that Azir was so upset about was like when it comes to raising children, she was just like, well, you know, if I marry a white man, then, you know, how are my children supposed to hold on to their culture? Like, how are they supposed to? She just couldn't fathom the idea that you teach your children your culture. Like, what? I don't understand why that's so confusing to you. And then she had and then the crazy part is she has a best friend who's like Nigerian and Italian or something like that. And she goes and she visits the best friend's parents, and she's just so shocked. She was like, oh, you guys learned each other's cultures? That's so crazy. That's so unheard. Like, are you stupid? Are you 5? Like, why? What? Hello? Yes, that's what everyone does. Like, every mixed child. Like, so couldn't stand the book. I finished it because it was really quick to get through, but I definitely would not recommend it. I was really, really, really disappointed because I was super excited to read it. So what can you do? Second, I read Island of the Blue Dolphins by Scott Odell. This was about a girl named Karana who lived on the Island of the Blue Dolphins. It's an island that's off the coast of, I believe, Santa Barbara. But basically her and her people were scheduled to like leave the island, and she ends up getting left behind with her little brother. And so it just kind of goes on the story of how she was able to survive. There were like wild dogs on the island, and there was like a lack of food, lack of water. So basically how she was able to survive. And I completely forgot that it's based on a true story. This actually happened. This woman existed. And I also don't remember it being that tragic when I was younger. I gave it a 3 stars. It just, you know, it was nostalgic. I think I read it when I was in maybe 4th or 5th grade. I really don't remember. But I mean, it was nice to kind of go back to it. I'm not sure if I would read it again or if I would actually purchase it. But, you know, it was good. It was cool. So third book I read was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So actually, a girl's name is not Fair. It's Feyre, which I think is a lot cooler. So this was a book set in kind of like the land of fairies. So Feyre is a hunter, and she, you know, provides for her family. She ends up killing a wolf that turns out to be a fairy, and then she's then taken to the land of fairy to live for the rest of her life as like a kind of a punishment for her crimes, right? So she's taken to the land of fairy by a high fairy named Tamlin, and she lives in his mansion, and she finds out that basically there's some sort of blight on the land that's like taking the fairies' magic, and it's weakening them, and you know, things like that. So this book is first in a series, and I don't know if I was just in a weird mood this month, but it took me a lot to get through this book. And sometimes I just got so bored, but I don't think it was the book. I think it was me, because it has everything that I like. It has romance, it has the fantasy aspect, it has like cruelty and love and all that's all me. So I gave it a 3.5 stars. I do want to continue reading, and then I'll kind of decide if I want to buy the series or not. But yeah, I mean, like there was adventure, there was love, there was, you know, but it was good. I gave it a 3.5. It was pretty good, despite me being in like a weirdo mood. Fourth book I read was Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I did a horrible job of describing this in my other video, so I'm going to try to do a better job. So this book follows Laszlo Strange. He is a war orphan. He is now a librarian, so he loves books, and he's been fascinated with this city called Weep since he was little. Now, the city's name is not actually Weep, but here's the thing. At some point in time during his childhood, the city's name was wiped out of everybody's memory. So no one can remember the city's name. It's like a worldwide phenomenon, right? So he's obsessed with it. Everyone else has pretty much forgotten about the city, kind of forgotten that they don't know the actual name of the city, but not Laszlo. So Laszlo has done years of research on this city that he's like obsessed with, right? Now the opportunity comes for Laszlo to actually travel to that city. The people from this city have come to Laszlo's town or wherever, and they're requesting help because there is this unexplainable phenomenon that is happening in this city. So Laszlo goes, he travels to the city, and he finds that basically the history of this city is not what he thought it was. Now, I don't want to give too much away because there's a lot to unpack there, but dealing with gods and angels and monsters and magic, solid. I give it a 5. I love Laini Taylor's writing. I love it. Beautiful world, beautiful writing, and she has a way of coming up with stories that you just never in your right mind would you think, oh, this is what I'm gonna do. And this book didn't disappoint, so I gave it a 5. And fifth book I read was actually the sequel. I wasn't supposed to read the sequel, that wasn't part of the plan, but it's called Muse of Nightmares, and I literally wrote nothing but good things. I loved this one, so there we go. And that one is actually it's a duology, so it's already done with, but I think it hinted that there might be like another like adjacent story, kind of. So yeah, and the cool thing is too, and I think in Strange the Dreamer, or maybe it was in Muse of Nightmares, it actually kind of alluded to her Daughter of Smoke and Bone series, and I saw the line and I was just like, oh, she's talking about Daughter of Smoke and Bone, oh my gosh. So she alluded to there possibly being like another story kind of within that, so if that happens, Alright, next we have Her by Pierre Alex Gentil. This one was just a poetry book, and I really thought I was gonna like it, and I wasn't too much a fan of it. I gave it a 2 stars. Oh, okay, so first and foremost, it's pretty repetitive. But it's basically about like how to love a woman and how to be there for a woman and what women expect and things like that. And there were a few passages that I liked. Like as you see, there were only 3 separate things that I marked. And that's unusual for me in a poetry book. And I actually had screenshotted a review from Goodreads that I thought like pretty much summed it up. She said it felt very preachy and judgmental, stating more than once that women should wait for their husbands and stop choosing the wrong man to give our love or bodies to. And then, yeah, so at one point the author said that women should choose men with the same pickiness that they use when choosing which selfie they post. So, and when I read that, I was like, excuse me? I'm sorry, what? So yeah, it sucks because I really thought it was going to be great. And then last but not least, we have Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane. So this one is about a woman named Lila Ridgefield. Her husband, Aaron, has gone missing. And so it's basically, it's a whodunit. It's like a psychological thriller, sort of. But you find out very, very soon at the beginning, Lila is not who she said she is. But you know what? Neither is her husband, Aaron. And then on top of that, there's like women that are going missing and no one really knows if the cases are connected. Yeah, so there's just lots of stuff going on. So this one I give this one, I'm gonna give this one a 3.5 because it was pretty good. And when we finally figure out who done it, I was just like, oh, okay, so you're like twisted. Cool. I think it was a pretty satisfactory ending. I feel like in some points the book did drag a little bit, but maybe that was just me being impatient. I was like, okay, all right, come on now. But I also think I was on a time crunch because I was really trying to finish this before the month of March ended. So once again, maybe just me. But yeah, no, I really liked it. And Lila, she's a savage. She's been through a lot of stuff. So I read 7 books this month, which, you know, I did fall a little bit short. So we're gonna do just a quick little reading challenge update. So I wanted to read 100 books this year so far. So far I'm at 18 and Goodreads is letting me know I am, here we go. So I am 7 books behind schedule. But they also, Goodreads doesn't account for the fact that sometimes I go crazy and I read like, I don't know, 5 books a week. So we'll see. But yeah, so that is it. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Hopefully this was a pretty short video. Let me know what you guys are reading this month. Well, no. Let me know what you guys read last month. Do any of these sound like good to you? Have you read them? Do you have different opinions than I do? Let me know. Keep me posted. As always, I hope you guys are staying safe, drinking water, taking care of yourself, taking care of your mind, your body, and your soul, all of that good stuff. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I definitely appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. She's a Mona Lisa.